Professional solutions to money, relationships, wellness, and more. Shine a light onto your day and into your life. Power Your Life with Dr. Joanne White.
Welcome to Power Your Life. I'm Joanne White, your host, and my first guest is a mom just like you who had concerns over her child's nutrition. And her oldest son, when he began kindergarten, is when she realized that the healthy and fresh options at school were, well, lacking. Gabriella Wilday is here today, and she met the challenge, taking matters, well, lunch really, into her own hands. Gabriella is the founder of the No Fuss Lunch, and she's with us here. Welcome.
Thank you, Joanne. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's my pleasure. So, we're going to talk about something that may be uncomfortable for some people who are listening because there are some poisons. Did I say poisons?
I think you did.
In our food. And you're going to help us identify some of them. So there's something that you and I talked about called the dirty dozen. Let's not do all of them, but what are some of the things that we're eating that we think, it's delicious, but it's really not good for us?
Right. So, if I had to say there were three things that we should be aware of as parents, I would say you want to think about genetically modified foods, right? Okay.
Right.
You want to think about organic. What does it mean? Why is there a label organic? And you want to think about what's in the processed food that we're buying in the supermarket.
And we'll get to all those labels that
absolutely. Very, very scary.
You can't even understand some of it. Sounds like another language.
And that's
so when we say genetically modified food, what does that mean? Because a lot of people don't know it. And in this country, we're not labeling anything that's genetically engineered.
No, not yet. We're not labeling anything, and that's a very good point. So at a very basic level, genetically modified organisms, what they're doing is they're taking the DNA from one species and injecting it into another. And typically that's done to provide resistance against an herbicide or a pesticide.
So initially it's a good thing.
Well, you would think it was a good thing, right? And there's not much research out there today that talks about real health hazards. But the issue is that the chemical companies that are genetically modifying the food are doing the studies. So the research that's out there is really not that objective. So from my perspective as a mother, I'd rather not look back in 30 years and say, I wish I knew what I knew now, I knew then.
But also, they're morphing. So when you think that they're exactly staying the way they are over time or whatever, it's changing. And they're also infiltrating other really good foods that aren't genetically modified.
Yeah, there's a lot of
we don't know that.
Well, we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about a genetically modified food. But we know that the top offenders, if you will, are alfalfa. We know they're canola. We know that they're corn. They're cotton. They're papaya, delicious papaya, right? That comes from Hawaii. They're soybeans. They're soybeans.
See, these are things that we thought are so wonderful.
And so 99% of the corn out there, even the corn that you get at your local farmer's stand,
so because you're supposed to eat
genetically
local,
modified, right?
Fresh.
Absolutely. And so what does that mean? I don't know what it means. But personally, as a mother, I don't want my children ingesting Roundup Ready corn. And it's corn that's resistant to weed killer. So I don't know what that means.
Okay, and
but
who
it's
knows
scary.
We
have no idea what the health implications are going to be in 10, 20, 30 years.
So you're doing something pretty wonderful because you decided it's not just for your kids. You have this company to help other kids and other families really have this level of awareness about healthy foods and healthy lunches, and you provide lunches to schools, which I think is right on, healthy lunches. So let's talk about some of the healthy stuff, because that's what we want parents to be able to put in their kids' lunches and also in their own bodies.
That's right. So what we focus on at No Fuss Lunch is providing organic fruits and vegetables that are clean, they're pristine, there's no pesticide residue that is being ingested, right? So we want to make sure that there's plenty of fruits and vegetables. We also want to make sure that we make every single entree nutrient dense. And when I say nutrient dense, I mean it's got all the good stuff and none of the bad stuff. So, you know, when my daughter was coming home with these school lunches, everything was white. It was white flour, it was white sugar, the pasta was white, the bread was white, it was all white. And so what that tells me is that it's highly processed and it's refined.
And it's not the nutrition.
It's empty calories. So, you know, there's no nutrition in a lunch unless it has nutrients in it. And so when we refine things like flour, we're taking out the bran and we're taking out the germ and we're taking out the nutrients.
So your job, and you're doing a fantastic job, is to put those nutrients back in and to help other people have that level of awareness. Let's look at the labels for a minute, because sometimes, like I said, it's like reading another language. I don't understand what it is. I mean, you know, even if I hold it up different ways, I still can't read it. And what does that tell us?
Well, that tells us a lot. If you don't understand what's in an ingredient label, you probably shouldn't be buying it. And there's always these big words, but here are a couple of things that I look for that are non-negotiable. They'll never go in my shopping cart. They'll never go in any no-fuss lunches. High fructose corn syrup, that's poison.
Toxic.
Toxic. We are consuming so much refined sugar.
It's in everything.
It's in everything. You know, you'd be surprised.
You know what else I heard the other day, and this is really fast, is that kids 6 years and up are consuming so much salt that they're at risk for heart attacks.
Absolutely.
Which you're not doing that either.
Absolutely. It's all what we consider to be real, unprocessed food. Nutrient dense, with all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. So high fructose corn syrup, just absolutely non-negotiable. Nothing, go through your pantry, dump it, okay?
Okay, and I think we're going to dump that and we're going to move on. One more quickly non-negotiable, just name it because we got to go.
Yeah, absolutely, dyes. Blue, red, green, yellow.
So it says it on the labels.
It'll say it, and there's so much. Look in your children's supplements. Supplements. Think about it. All these chewy supplements that they're eating.
Oh, and they have
vitamins.
Sugar in them too.
They've got high fructose corn syrup. They've got dyes, and then I'll just leave you with one more. Just we have to think about soy in everything that we eat.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gabriella, and we're doing good.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Joanne.
My pleasure. Listen up, ladies. Are you looking for Mr. Right? Well, you could be dating Mr. Wrong. And if you're Mr. Wrong, we have your number. Ahead, relationship expert Kimberly Moffitt exposes the 6 types of men that you want to run from when Power Your Life returns.